everybody! Today we will crochet the Lila Vest top. We can either make the cardigan vest version with the open front or the closed vest top version. I will explain both. This top can be made in sizes XS to 5XL. This crochet vest pattern is a beginner-friendly pattern. We will use an easy lace design that works up fast. We will make this vest top from 2 rectangles by just joining them. There is no shaping involved. The written pattern has been linked in the description box below along with the timestamps, so you can skip ahead to whatever part you want. This is a step-by-step beginner-friendly tutorial. Hello and welcome to Let's All Crochet. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hope you enjoy making this vest top pattern. To crochet this vest top or cardigan, we will need any weight 3 or lightweight or DK weight yarn. I have left some suggestions in the description box below along with the amount of yarn needed for each size. This is the yarn that I am using. So this yarn contains about 60% viscose and 40% polyamide. The shade is 3655 and in 100 grams there are 230 meters of yarn. We are also going to need a 4.5mm size crochet hook, scissors, measuring tape, a tapestry needle and some stitch markers. Now let's begin. This vest is very easy to make. We are going to make 2 panels or 2 rectangles and then join them. So we are going to chain this entire length of the rectangle and then repeat the rows till we reach this width. I am going to explain exactly how to do this. I am going to be leaving the length of the chain for all sizes in the description box below. I will also leave the width of each panel for all sizes in the description box below. Once we finish this first panel in exactly the same way as the first panel, we will make the second panel. Then we will turn our panels. We are going to just fold them like this. We are going to leave a gap for the armhole on top here and on top here, and we will join the sides. We can decide if we want to leave a small slit at the side on the bottom here. We will then join the backs of both these panels together and our vest will be ready. I will explain exactly how to do this once we finish making the panels. I just want to tell you, the chain decides the length of the vest. So if you want your vest to be longer, you are just going to chain more, and if you want it to be shorter, you will chain less. Like I said, I have left some general sizes in the description box below for the chain. We are going to chain a multiple of 3 plus 1 and I am going to explain exactly how to do it. I am making a small sample. Your chain is going to be much longer than mine, about 36 to 50 inches depending on the length that you want your vest to be. We begin with a slip knot and we can make this however we want. Once we make our slip knot, we are going to start working on our chains. So yarn over and then pull through. This is the first chain. Yarn over and then pull through. This is the second chain. Yarn over and then pull through. This is our third chain. Once we have 3 chains, we are going to start counting again. 1, 2 and 3. We are going to start counting from 1 again. 1, 2 and 3. So in the same way, we are just going to continue chaining 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 till we reach the length of our vest. I will meet you there. So once we have our entire chain, to the end of this chain, we are going to add 1 more chain. Yarn over and then pull through. This makes sure that our chain is a multiple of 3 plus 1. Row 1. We are going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So remember, the loop on the hook is not a chain. This is my first chain, this is my second chain, this is my third chain, and this here is my 4th chain. So double crochet in the 4th chain. You can work into the back loop or the top loop, whichever you want. Yarn over, insert your hook into the 4th chain, yarn over and then pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So we have made a double crochet. And these 3 chains that we had skipped here also count as a double crochet. This row is a double crochet row. So we've made a double crochet in this chain, and in this next chain, in the next V, we will make one more double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We have 2 left, yarn over and pull through the last 2. Double crochet in the next chain as well. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain and make your double crochet. I'm just going to continue making a double crochet in each and every chain till the end of this row. I will meet you once we finish. I have reached the end of the row. I have made my last double crochet in the very last chain. If we count all our double crochets, we are going to have 2 less than the number of chains that we made. Make sure that you count this very first chain 3 that we had skipped as a stitch. Row 2. We are going to chain 3 and then turn our work. Yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 3. Now we are going to turn the work. This 3 chains is going to count as our first double crochet. So we are not going to work into this first double crochet. We will come to the second double crochet and make a double crochet in it. Yarn over, insert your hook below both the loops of the V on top of the double crochet. Then we are going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. Let's begin the repeat pattern for this row now. We are going to chain 1, yarn over and then pull through. Now we are going to skip the next double crochet. So you can see we have made a double crochet here. This is our third double crochet. We are going to skip this, and in the next double crochet we are going to make a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook. Remember to go below both the loops of the V of the top of the stitch. Then yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. Make a double crochet in the next double crochet as well. Yarn over, insert your hook and continue making your double crochet. So this is the end of our repeat pattern. We are just going to repeat this till the end of the row. Let's do it once more. Chain 1. Now we are going to skip this double crochet that we see here. Skip this one, and into the next one we are going to make a double crochet. And double crochet in the next double crochet as well. Let us repeat this once again. We are going to chain 1, skip the next double crochet in the next double crochet, and double crochet in the next double crochet as well. So we're just going to continue repeating the pattern till the end of the row, and I will meet you there. I've reached the end of the row and I want to show you the very last repeat. So after you make our chain 1 and skip this double crochet and make 2 double crochet, we're going to have 2 double crochets and this chain 3 left. So first we are going to chain 1. We're going to skip this next double crochet, and in this double crochet here we are going to make a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook below both the loops of the V, make your double crochet, and this is the first chain 3 that we had skipped. So we're going to count from the bottom: 1 chain, 2 chain, and at the top here in this third chain we're going to make our very last double crochet of this row. So yarn over, I'm going to go below 2 loops of this chain, and then I'm going to make my double crochet, and this is the end of row 2. Row 3, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Yarn over and pull through 1, 2 and 3. Now this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Turn your work. In this row, we're going to make V stitches. So we're going to make a first V stitch in this chain 1 space or this big gap that we see here. So we're going to yarn over. Don't work into these first 2 double crochet that you see. Just insert your hook into this chain 1 space. So just insert your hook like this, then yarn over and then pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So we have made a double crochet. Now we are going to chain 1, yarn over and pull through. And we are going to go back to the same space and make 1 more double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same space and make your double crochet. So what we have done is made a V-stitch in this chain 1 space. The V-stitch is the double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So we're just going to jump over these next 2 double crochet to this next chain 1 space that we see here and make a V-stitch again. So skip over these 2 and in this space we're going to make a double crochet first. Then we're going to chain 1 and make 1 more double crochet. So the repeat pattern for this row is very easy. We're just going to make a V-stitch in all these chain 1 spaces. Let's do this again. Yarn over. Remember, we're not going to work into these double crochets. Just jump to the chain 1 space, insert your hook into the space, make a double crochet, then a chain 1 and 1 more double crochet into the same space. Make a V-stitch in the next space, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet all in the same space. So just continue making V-stitches in all the spaces till the end of the row and I will meet you there. I have reached the end of the row. I have made a V-stitch in my last chain 1 space and now I have a double crochet and a chain 3 left. So we're going to skip this double crochet and in the third chain of this chain 3 we're going to make a double crochet. So count from the bottom. This is the first chain, this is the second chain and on the top here is the third chain. So yarn over, I'm going to go below 2 loops and make my double crochet in the third chain. This is the end. Row 4. We are going to chain 3 and then turn our work. Yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3. Again, this is going to count as a first double crochet and turn the work. In this row also, we are going to make a V-stitch in the chain 1 space of the V of the previous row. So this is our V and this is the chain 1 space and here we are going to make a V-stitch. So you're going to skip over these 2 double crochet that you see here, jump to the chain 1 space, yarn over, insert your hook into the chain 1 space of the V. This is our first double crochet, chain 1. Go back to the same space and make 1 more double crochet. So now we want to be careful. We're going to skip over these 2 double crochet that we see here. Don't work into this space. We want to work into the chain 1 space, which is this space. So find your V and in the space we're going to make our next V. Yarn over, insert your hook into the space of the V, make 1 double crochet, then we're going to chain 1 and then make 1 more double crochet in the same space. Oops. Again, be careful you don't work into this space. Just search for the next V. So just skip over these 2 double crochets and you will see the V here. There's a space here and you're going to work your V in the space of the V. So to make double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. In the same way, we're going to continue. Make a V-stitch in the next V, a V-stitch in the chain 1 space of the next V, a V-stitch in the chain 1 space of the next V, and so on till we reach the end of the row. I will meet you once we finish. I've reached the end of the row and made my very last V-stitch in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch of the previous row, and we have 1 double crochet that we see here and this chain 3. So we're going to skip this double crochet, find the third chain 1, 2 and 3 on top, yarn over, insert your hook into the third chain and make a double crochet. This is the end of row 4. Row 5, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, 3. This is the first double crochet of this row. So in this row also, we're going to work into this chain 1 space of the V, but we're going to make 3 double crochet in this space. So you're not going to work into this double crochet that you see here or this double crochet. Jump into this chain 1 space of this V of the previous row and make 3 double crochet in it. In the space, we're going to make 1 double crochet, 2 and 3. Now we're going to go to the chain 1 space of this very next V, and in the space we're going to make 3 double crochet again. So jump over these 2 double crochet, don't work into them, and then this chain 1 space, one, 2 and 3. Again, we're going to jump over to this V, and in this chain 1 space, we're going to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. So in the same way, in all the chain 1 spaces of the V's, we're going to continue making 3 double crochets till we reach the end of the row. I will meet you once we finish. I've reached the end of the row, made 3 double crochet in the last chain 1 space of this very last V. We have a double crochet and a chain 3. So we're going to go to the third chain and make a double crochet. So now we're just going to repeat row 2 to row 5 till we reach the height of this panel. So we're going to repeat row 2 next, then 3, then 4 and then 5. Then we're going to come back to row 2, then 3, then 4 and then 5. I have left the timestamps for all the rows in the description box below along with the sizes. So I will meet you once we finish the entire width of this panel. Our width is decided by the number of rows that we make. So if you want a wider vest, you will add more rows, and if you want a narrower vest, you will add lesser rows. I have left some general sizes in the description box below. This is only half of the front and half of the back. We're going to make one more panel exactly like this. I just want to show you I have finished making my entire panel, and this is what it looks like. So I have ended this panel at row 5. You can see the 3 double crochets all in the V stitches, and once we finish, we're going to leave a small tail end about 6 to 7 inches, and we're going to cut this yarn. I've already cut it, as you can see, and we're going to pull out a loop by tugging on our hook. Later we will weave this in. Once we finish this first panel in exactly the same way as the first panel, we will make the second. So as you can see, I have both my panels on the screen. Make sure you make the same number of rows in both the panels. Now let's continue with joining them. Before we join, we want to make sure we know what the right sides of our panels are. So the right side is when the slip knot is at the bottom left. So this is my panel, and the slip knot is at the bottom left here. So you can mark this with a stitch marker if you want, in case you get confused. Otherwise, you can just remember that this is the right side. Now we are just going to turn our panel sideways, and we're going to fold this in half. So just bring the top towards the bottom like this. So I'm going to show you my panel also. So as you can see, I have folded my panel in half. Now we're going to match the rows on both the sides and make sure that we have folded it exactly. So after we fold, we can see that this is the wrong side of our work. We're going to sew on the wrong side. We also want to make sure that this first double crochet row that we had made lies towards the center of our work. So it's going to lie towards this side and towards this side, towards the center of our work in both the panels, because this is going to form the center of our vest. On the screen, you can see I have left both my panels facing each other, and the double crochet row lies at the center. I'm going to close each of the panels first, and then we will join both the panels together like this. So let me show you how to close the side of each panel first. Remember that the double crochet row is towards the center, And on this side where we have the 5th row, all these 3 double crochet bunches that we see, we're going to sew. And this is the wrong side of our work. So from the top here where we have folded, we are going to leave a small gap for the armhole and we're going to add a stitch marker. And if we want, we can leave a small slit from the bottom. So you can see I have made a small slit at the bottom here, and we will add one more stitch marker here. And we're going to close the center between the 2 stitch markers. So the slit is optional. You can even close right from the bottom up till the armhole here. You can decide how big or small you want your slit to be. So I've left a slit of about 4.5 inches. You can make it smaller or bigger, however you want. You're going to mark this with a stitch marker. Remember, we're counting the slit from the bottom. What I will do is just count the double crochets on this side and on this side to make sure I have marked the slit exactly on both these panels. Remember that this is the double crochet side and you're going to mark the armhole on the opposite side. This is where we will mark our armhole. So we're going to bring our stitch marker and our measuring tape, and we're going to decide however big we want our armhole to be and mark the stitch marker. Now remember, I've left some sizes in the description box below for the armhole, and you can decide however big or small you want your armhole to be. I'm just going to count my stitches again from this stitch here till the next stitch marker on this side and on this side to make sure I have the same number of stitches. In the same way as this first panel, I have made an armhole for the second panel also. Make sure that you make it the same size as the first panel. The double crochet lines face towards the center. So this is row 1 for both my panels. And on this side, I have row 5 where I have all the 3 double crochet bunches. And I have also made a slit at the bottom of the panel. I've counted my double crochets on this side and on this side to make sure they're equal, and counted my double crochets again and make sure they are equal for both the panels. I'm going to take a piece of yarn that is the size of this entire panel from the top to the bottom. I'm going to close between the 2 stitch markers. I'm just turning my work like this so I can sew easily. This is the bottom of my work. I'm going to start closing from the first stitch marker till the second stitch marker, and on the top here I'm going to leave my armhole open. So with my tapestry needle, I'm going to go into the stitch with the stitch marker here and the stitch with the stitch marker in the second panel as well. Tug on the needle. So when a small tail is left, I'm just going to tie a knot. Later we will weave this tail end in. Now I'm going to take my needle, go into the next double crochet and the next double crochet as well. Tug on the needle. I'm going to go below the next double crochet on the first panel and the next double crochet on the next panel. Tug on the needle. So you will see the little loops lying on top here. Go to the next double crochet on this side and the next double crochet on the next side. These are the double crochets on both the sides of the same panel that we have folded. So I'm going to go below both the loops of the double crochet here and on the other side as well. So in the same way, we're going to continue till we reach the next stitch marker. We want to keep this a little bit on the loose side. Don't tug too much on these stitches. So now I have reached the next stitch marker and I'm just going to weave this tail end in. So before you weave in the tail end, you can just wear this and check if you like the fit of the armhole, and now you can just weave the tail end in. So I'm going to take the needle 3 to 4 times in the opposite direction. If your yarn is slippery, do it a few more times because we don't want this to unravel. And once you're sure that the piece of yarn is firmly weaved in, you'll take a scissor and then cut this off. Same way that we have closed this first panel, close the side of the second panel as well, and I will meet you once we finish. Next we are going to join the back of the two panels. So far we have two panels lying side by side like this. The double crochets face towards the center. The wrong side of both the panels is facing up, and we have just closed the sides of the first panel here and the second panel here. On top we have our armhole here and here, and we have left a small slit at the bottom which is optional. Now let's go to the back. The panels are exactly the same. This side can be the back or this other side, and on the inside we have our right sides. So we're going to choose one side for the back. Before we close the backs, we're just going to take a stitch marker and add it to the top here. So we're going to leave about 3 inches right from the shoulders here for the neck and add the stitch marker. I'm going to show you on my panels as well. And then we're going to start closing from the bottom up with our tapestry needle till we reach the stitch marker, and this will be our back. So now I just want to show you, I have both my panels lying side by side. I have finished joining the side of this panel here and this panel here. On the top we have our armhole for this panel and this panel. Now we want to join both these panels together. The wrong side of both these is facing up right now, and we're just going to join the backs together. I'm going to take a measuring tape and measure about 3 inches from the top here. So these are the shoulders, and from the top we're going to measure 3 inches and add a stitch marker. Now you want to make sure the stitch marker lies at the exact same stitch on both the panels. So what you can do is start counting from the bottom in the first panel and then the second panel, and make sure that the stitch marker lies at the same stitch. So once we have added the stitch marker, we're just going to start closing from the bottom up till we reach the stitch marker here. This on top is our neck. So to close the back, we're going to take a piece of yarn that is twice the length of this panel. Before we start closing, I just want to show you I've put this little piece of paper. These are both the back panels and these are both the front panels. We want to make sure we don't sew both of these together. This is why I've put the piece of paper between the two, and we're going to start with joining both the back panels together here. So I'm going to insert my needle into the last stitch on this side and on this side. So I'm going to take my needle and go into the third chain here and into the first chain here, because this is my 3 chains that make up the first stitch. So basically the first stitch on this side and then the other side, tug on the needle. Again, once you reach the end of the yarn, you can just tie a little knot. And now we're going to continue closing. So I'm going to go to my next chain here, go below this chain, and on the other side in the next chain here, tug on the needle. Again, we're going to keep our stitches loose, don't tug too tightly. Going in the third stitch on this side and the third stitch on this side. So we're just going to close the back in this way. I will meet you once we reach the stitch marker. I've finished closing my back from the bottom here till I have reached my stitch marker on top here. Now we will just take this tail end and weave it in. So if you want the V at the back of the neck to be deeper, you can make it deeper. I have just given you the size that I have made mine. Now I'm going to turn this vest inside out to add a border. We want to add a border to the right side of our vest. I'm going to add a border for the bottom of the vest and the slits so that this looks more neat and finished. At the border, I'm just going to turn my vest like this and start by attaching the yarn here. Then we're going to go in this direction, add a border for the slit, and go down the second slit, go down the back panel. And once we come to the slit, we'll again add a border for the slit, come like this, and then the bottom of this front panel, and we will end our border here. I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to attach the yarn at the bottom here. If you want, you can weave in all the tail ends and then start adding the border. So I'm going to insert my hook into the third chain that I see here, or the top of this very first stitch, right in the corner. Once you insert the hook, you will catch the new yarn in a loop form on the hook like this and pull it through. And now we are going to chain 1. Now we are going to go to the space that we see here at the side of this double crochet or this chain 3 that we have made. So at the side of that, we are going to make 2 single crochets. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull through. We have 2 loops on a hook, yarn over and pull through both. This is my first single crochet. I'm just going to insert my hook like this at the side of the same row, yarn over and pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both. So in the same way, at the side of every row, we are going to make 2 single crochet. So I'm just going to insert my hook like this, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through both. My first single crochet, insert your hook, 2. I'm going to go to the side of the next row, 1 and 2. The side of the next row, 1 and 2. So in the same way, we are going to continue making single crochets till we reach the slit. I will meet you at the slit. So as you can see, I have reached the slit now and I have made single crochet till the very last row before the slit. I have made 2 single crochets at the side of all the rows till I have reached this very last row. So here I am going to make 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now I'm going to work into the slit. So we're just going to make 1 single crochet in all the double crochets. So I've reached the seam now. This is where my side seam is. I've added a stitch marker here, if you remember. So I'm just going to make a single crochet in this last double crochet that I see. I'm not going to make a single crochet in the stitches with the stitch marker. Jump to the next double crochet on the other side of the seam. Make a single crochet. Make a single crochet in the next double crochet. I am going to continue making single crochet till I reach the bottom of the slit. So just like we have done for this part of the slit, once we reach the last double crochet here, in this next double crochet at the side of it, we are going to make 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now at the side of every row, we are going to make 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. So this is how we are going to make our border. 2 single crochet at the side of every row. Finished all my single crochets in the back, 2 at the side of every row and reach the second slit. So just like the first slit, at the side of this double crochet here, we will make 4 single crochet. Then we will make 1 single crochet in all the double crochets here, 1 single crochet in all the double crochets, and at the side of this first double crochet here, we are going to make 4 single crochets. Then we will make 2 single crochets at the side of every row till we reach the end here. I will meet you once we reach here. Reach the end of the border. This is the center of the front panel here. So I'm not going to be working into this part. This is my very last row. At the side of the last row, I'm going to make 1 single crochet and 1 slip stitch. So single crochet first and then a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through the loop on the hook. Keep this slip stitch loose. Once we finish, we're going to leave a small tail about 6 to 7 inches and then cut the yarn. Pull out a loop by tugging on the hook. And now we will weave all the tail ends in. So I've showed you the open version for the vest. If we want, we can also close the front and make this into a top. So just like we made this V of the neck, we're going to make the V of the front. We're going to add the stitch marker and then close from the bottom up till the stitch marker. You can decide however big you want this V to be. I would suggest about half of the length of this panel. So just measure this and you can add a stitch marker somewhere halfway, and you can just count your stitches to make sure that it is equal on both the sides. Then just like the back panels, we will close the front panels on the wrong side. So make sure you turn your vest inside out, and on the wrong side continue closing till you reach the stitch marker, and then you will just weave the tail ends in. The border for the bottom of the vest remains the same, and if you want, you can end by a slip stitch to the first single crochet here. Since the front of the top is closed, it doesn't really matter. So you can just end by a slip stitch to the first single crochet here. The rest of the border is going to remain the same. Thank you so much for watching this Crochet Lila Vest top tutorial. Please check the description box for the pattern and material requirement. Please like, share and subscribe, and see you next time.